And I was granted a temporary civil stalking injunction after I filed my evidence and my exhibits before the judge. That was served. And my stalker was served a temporary civil stalking injunction.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Doll, where we do what? We do a little bit of cussing around here, so your parental advisory has been advised. Also, listen, I am in somebody's business again, okay? And I'm actually in a neighborhood where I don't usually visit, and that is the true crime community. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it would. And you know what? It did. It did. After it was approved, I felt I had no choice but to withdraw my stalking injunction. So did it have a chilling effect on me? Seeking justice, seeking safety from the court, seeking protection? It did. It did. The psychological impact. Requiring a stalking victim to recount traumatic experiences while media representatives observe and take notes is re-traumatizing. The awareness that these intimate details will be broadcast or published creates severe psychological distress. Yeah, and let me remind you, civil stalking injunctions are often victims that are being abused. It's domestic violence. It's fear. It's coercive control. Again, I cannot believe that any media would be requesting to be in there. It's beyond, it is so unfathomable to me. Incomplete testimony. Fear of public exposure will cause petitioner to self-censor. Yeah. Omitting details that are embarrassing, humiliating, or too personal to share publicly, even if those details are crucial to establishing the stalking pattern. This directly impairs petitioner's ability to meet the evidentiary burden. The chilling effect. This is important, and not just me, but on future victims. For those of you coming forward thinking you need protection, the chilling effect on future victims. Media coverage of victim testimony in stalking cases sends a message to other victims that seeking legal protection means public exposure to their trauma, deterring victims from accessing the justice system.
There's something that I want to bring up into the front of the room, and I want to get into what exactly she said about the testimony in front of a live streaming camera to millions of people. During this 9-hour live, there was a lot of dead air between her telling her story, okay? And sometimes that can disrupt your flow, and you can tell she was nervous. You can tell that she wanted to make sure everything that she was going to say made sense to the people listening. She also had her producer, Grayson, in the background as well. But some of you, because like I said, with this whole situation, it is a mixed crowd when it comes to the court of public opinion asking the hard questions. Some of you will say, no, she's a drama queen. No, she's manipulating the situation so that people will feel sorry for her. But before I go into all of that, I want to get into the audio that I want to bring to the front of the room. So let's start there first.
Incomplete testimony. Fear of public exposure will cause petitioner to self-censor. Yeah.
So if I would just, generalize what incomplete testimony is, it's unreliable. It can be inadmissible in court. Now, some people will hold back due to the fear or shame with what has to come out when you are in the middle of presenting your facts in the courtroom.
Omitting details that are embarrassing, humiliating, or too personal to share publicly, even if those details are crucial to establishing the stalking pattern. This directly impairs petitioner's ability to meet the evidentiary burden.
So once again, we have a 9-hour live with Lauren telling her story, but she did not tell us everything. She has said some of the details are too personal and embarrassing to share with the public. So depending on how you digest what you are listening to, I feel like she's letting us know you guys don't know everything. And some of this I don't want to share with you. And that's okay, because she doesn't have to explain herself at all. Okay? That is what the courthouse is for. However, she withdrew. All right? So we just have what she said and told us on her 9-hour live, which, again, she's letting you know right now, I didn't tell you everything. Some of it is too embarrassing to share with the public. So I'm going to play it one more time without interrupting.
Incomplete testimony. Fear of public exposure will cause petitioner to self-censor. Yeah. Omitting details that are embarrassing, humiliating, or too personal to share publicly, even if those details are crucial to establishing the stalking pattern. This directly impairs petitioner's ability to meet the evidentiary burden.
Now, if I can just chime in and offer my unsolicited advice, if you will. Basically, I feel like she's saying, I got the receipts to prove my POV about what's going on with me and why I feel like my life is in danger. However, in order for me to present the evidence and my receipts, I have to share secrets with this courtroom and things that I don't wish to speak about out here in the public with law and crimes cameras filming every moment of that. That's what I got from it. However, here's the thing. We only know Lauren's side of things so far based off of her 9-hour live. We don't know what happened because we didn't hear from Lindsay. We didn't hear from that ex-contractor. We didn't hear from Christina. When we go and we file that restraining order, they're just hearing from us. They're not hearing from everyone. They're just hearing from you. So it is one-sided until you have that next hearing that will get into, okay, so what happened? How did we get here, right? Now, based off of what I've seen from Christina, and I stand 10 toes down on this, I'm sorry, she does give off a little bit of a, concern. I think it is given a little bit of like, girl, are you obsessed? Is everything okay? It's just really not that serious. But is she harmless while doing so? Or was this behavior leading to something else? You have to always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But I also let you know in my last video, I come from the land of fuck around and find out. So there's that, but I don't want to put myself in her shoes because she's not me and I am not her. Some people are demure and mindful. I'm not, okay? So there's that. So let's get into a text message and a part of the 9-hour live where we can get into the off the clock Lauren and behind the scenes. She did show a text message and read it on her live. So if you didn't stick it out and watch the full 9 hours, it's a possibility that you missed that, okay? So let's get into that right now.
It is not a sin that behind the scenes, that there were days when I was angry at some of my fellow creators and that I fought battles for the victims behind the scenes that nobody will ever know because I care about these victims and I have stood up for these victims for years. Unlike some other people, behind the scenes, I am a fierce advocate. This whole thing about me being emotionally invested in the Lauren Chad Daybell case is true. And if that is a fault, I own it. In fact, one of my private texts that I'm going to share now, am I going to share this now? Yeah. It shows you just how invested I've been and probably a little too emotionally invested sometimes. It'll also show you a bit of the color I have. I wrote this on JJ's birthday. I sent it to an ex-contractor. Grayson found it going through all my messages and she said, look at this. And she sent it to me. So I have it. I'm sure I have plenty of texts like this.
So Grayson, her producer, went through 6 years worth of text messages. Keep in mind, these ex-contractors obviously had access to her phones. So no telling if they, sent these messages somewhere, if they did a screen recording while maybe Lauren was having a nap, taking a bath, having a shower, just so that they can have something on her for Mad Day. You just never know. So she wants to share this message with everyone just so that you can see who she is behind the scenes. All right, because there's somebody that you see on your screen that you love, that you support, but she doesn't show you this side. All right. This is the side her ex-contractors know. This is the side her friends know. This is the side that some of her colleagues may have experienced, okay? And this is also the side that she really does not want law and crime to come up in that courtroom filming for people's entertainment because she is trying to prove why she needs a permanent RO on Christina and gang, all right? Now, of course, there are other reasons why she doesn't want law and crime in there because it's a stalking injunction. She says she's scared. She feels like her life is in danger. Her family is in danger. Grayson is in danger. She is a victim trying to escape danger, and she doesn't feel like Law and Crime has the right to live stream that to millions of people. Okay, so let's get into the behind the scenes, Lauren. Just what she wants you to see, because of course she's not going to share everything with you. I have to keep repeating myself. Content creators aren't obligated to share every nook and cranny of their life. I can share my story with you, and it might be something that's relatable to you, and you might be like, oh my goodness, me too, sis. But at the same time, you feel like I told you everything, but I didn't tell you a damn thing at the same time. You get what I mean? So let's get into this text message.
Did you post it up? So it says, I was frustrated of all the posts on JJ's birthday. And I said, I'd just like a post by someone who simply states that this beautiful boy should be blowing out candles on a cake today, but thanks to a bunch of sick fucks, he isn't. Let's not forget that a bunch of those people have no verdict or no charges. Fuck Chad, fuck David Warwick, fuck Melanie Gibb, fuck Melanie Pulowski. And then there's this person and Zulema too. And oh, and all of the shoulda, woulda, coulda adults out there, fuck you all, may karma be a bitch.
Oh, what? Wait! Huh? Girl.
Out there, fuck you all, may karma be a bitch. It's actually probably a great example of who I am behind the scenes that maybe people don't expect, because I don't show that on my channel. That doesn't mean I'm a fake person. When I'm talking to you guys, it means that there's a time and a place. And when I feel safe and I'm passionate and I'm angry behind the scenes and I feel something, I'm going to say it to someone I feel safe to and trust, because they get me. And it helps me to release anger and feelings and emotion. Call it therapy. And if I'm writing to you something like that, it means I feel safe with you. And it means maybe I'm getting a little bit of therapy out of it, because it helps me to process the shit that I have to hear and deal with every day covering true crime, so I can deliver it professionally to all of you. I am not unscarred by the things I have seen in true crime. And I'm going to share some of those things, and I'm going to vent behind the scenes and in text, for good and for bad. I have fought battles behind the scenes for years that no one will ever know about, and in the name of the people whose lives have been ripped apart. When you are covering a case for 5 years, it gets messy. But I can say the one thing I have done throughout the years is protected victims and defended them. And isn't it ironic that if I have done anything, it is standing up for people behind the scenes? Is that, and ironically, that is what I believe I am being punished for. And rather than my so-called fellow journalists reaching out to find out what is truth and what is fiction, they decide to spread these lies to the point where Law and Crime, again, without reaching out to me, somehow discovers a private civil stalking injunction of mine, which means they clearly know a lot more than even maybe I do. And that they are willing to go put a camera request for Pool in something that has been torturing me for months.
I said, girl, what? Did y'all hear Lauren, honey? She said, fuck all those people. Yes, she did. Now, here's the thing. I love a juicy text message. Usually, if you want to get to know somebody, you got to go through their phone. Yes, you do. However, I don't say that that is the right thing to do. That is invasion of privacy. And unfortunately, when you go to court, there is a lot of evidence that's passed back and forth based off of what's inside of your phone. I would never want anybody to get a hold of my text messages or my camera roll, because there's a section called screenshots. Absolutely not. I will not sit here and act like I don't act a fool in my text messages. But what you have to keep in mind, Lauren is sharing with you her off the clock personality, not who she is professionally. Okay, understand, like she said, there is a time and a place. So now it is okay for me to give my unsolicited advice and opinion that you didn't ask me for. Here's the thing. If I'm behind the scenes with my friends and people who I employ, I'm going to talk a little shit, right? But when mad day comes, see, that's why you got to be very careful what you say and who you say it to when you're playing with these text messages, because on mad day, people like to save your messages. People like to save your voicemails and your voice messages. Yes, they do. You got to be very careful. You can talk a little shit, but see, this is where I have a point to prove. Remember, I said in my last live, you can be in your text messages or in the privacy of you and that person speaking, and it might not be in that person's favor that you're talking about, but you're not talking to yourself. people do feed into what you are saying. So if you look at this text message that Lauren did share with the room during that 9-hour live, which was based off of her response to different victims from a trial she was covering. This didn't have anything to do with Christina, what happened with Lindsay, her ex-contractor, or anything like that. But get into the response with the emoji, because on an iPhone, when you send a message, you don't have to say anything. You can just reply with an emoji, and look at this. So the ex-contractor hit her with the emoji reply. I don't know if she typed something out underneath the 100 emoji. She did not share that with the class or with the room. However, when you say something is 100, that means you agree it's the truth. That's last time I checked. That's what that means. My whole point is this. My POV is this. When you are text messaging someone back and forth and you are participating in a little bit of shit talking, you're venting, you're trying to get your shit off, you're going to have somebody say something in response to that. So when you expose me, or if you expose people, show everything. Again, don't crop, that's CROP, cut, copy, nor paste me. Screen record it. Please, please. And thank you. Because what did you say as well? You participated in it. And that's okay, but show it all. Now, in Lauren's case, she may not want them to do that for the simple fact she said when she thought about the 6 years worth of messages, she said she got sick to her stomach and she had to do a little bit of, she had to let some of that out of her stomach when she found out that, oh my God, are there 6 years worth of my text messages floating around here in this atmosphere? She got sick to her stomach. You know what happens when you get sick to the stomach, baby? You got to get that up out of you. All right. So Lauren might have a problem because you have these ex-contractors who has access. I don't know why they have access to your phone. I don't know how that works. I do know that I keep my phone on me, and if it's not on me, it is locked. And I feel like if I did need to have contractors and or employees that need information that I have, here is my iPad where it is not connected to my iMessages. And here's a little cute laptop, if you will. You know what I mean? You'll never have access to my phone. Absolutely not. Some of us may have more than one phone. You still will not even have access to the phone that I am using for business purposes. Again, here's my iPad. Here's a little cute laptop. Because not only are her text messages exposed, when she told us who Lindsay was, which is a ex-contractor and a friend of hers, she said something about a red flag, and Lindsay went into her YouTube studio. Now, if you don't know, YouTube studio is basically your pay stub, your analytics. Baby, it's all of your business as a content creator. And if somebody goes into your phone or wherever you have this app downloaded, they can see everything. They can see how much money, how much coin you're bringing in, and how much money you've been making from day one up until the current date. So she says something about Lindsay going into her phone, going into her YouTube studio, and showing Grayson, who at the time was just doing freelance work for her and note taking, and showing Grayson how much money she was bringing in. So if we are going to take that bit of information and give our opinion that nobody asked for, if she went into your YouTube studio to see how much money you were bringing in and to check your analytics, and she is an employee, a contractor of yours, someone who you're paying, it's given either she's nosy and she just wanted to see how much money is being made for her type of channel, following, and views that she's receiving, or she wanted to see how much she was getting paid because she felt like she wasn't being paid enough. This is what I can only assume. You didn't ask me for my opinion, but that's what I think. And that is problematic because you don't take anybody's phone without their permission, especially basically going into their checking account, reading their bank statements. Absolutely not. However, we have to go back to Lauren. I don't know why she had all of this trust in people that she really did not know. We found out on a court audio, and I believe the channel was Truth and Transparency. There is a hearing audio from the hearing for the stalking injunction. And this is the hearing before the one that was scheduled, I believe, for October 16th. We have Lindsay on the stand, and when they and sorry, I had to interrupt just to say on the screen, I do have a screenshot from the transcript from this audio when the lawyer was asking Lindsay how she knew Christina and asking Lindsay how she knew Lauren from Hidden True Crime. We have Lindsay on the stand, and when they asked Lindsay when she met Lauren, Lindsay said it was April of 2023. 2024, I guess you can say around like October is when the shit starts to hit the fan. But the transcript from the court audio says here that they became friends in April of 2024. Well, goddamn it, April of 2024, I didn't know you long enough for you to be all up in my phone. You shouldn't be in my phone at all. You get what I'm saying? So this is not a longtime friend. So this is somebody you met somewhere. I don't know where at. I don't know where you were at while she was going through your phone, but you now have to ask yourself, what did she send herself? What did she send others? What did she discover in that phone? And Lauren, where were you when she went into your phone? Were you in the shower? Were you in the kitchen grabbing a cup of Joe? Did you leave the house, forgot your phone, and run down to the store because they're staying in an Airbnb? How long did she have your phone for? How many people have access to your phone when you're not paying attention? Of course you're worried, especially if you're a little messy in these text messages, especially if you got a bunch of screenshots in your phone you don't want anybody to see. And let's be honest, we don't know what kind of relationship she has with her husband just because they're professional out here on the YouTube and on the podcast. What if she sent her husband a little cute picture, from the neck down? You get what I'm saying? Nobody should be in your phone. I'm not saying that is what she's doing. And if she is, that's her goddamn right. She's married. My whole point is this. Why do these people have access to your phone? So I just hope and pray that that is a lesson in itself, but we need to get back to this civil stalking injunction. We have ex-contractors times 3 so far, I believe so. If you want to add Lauren Matthias, I don't know if she was paying her, but they did work side by side on her channel. So you have a party of 4 right now who actually worked close with Lauren, 3 who were getting paid. So I said, you know what, let me type this out and put it on the screen. We have an unknown ex-contractor and friend. Lindsay is an ex-contractor and a friend. Christina is an ex-contractor and a friend. And Lauren Matthias is a ex-channel guest and a friend. Now, allegedly, all of these people have something in common. And a collaboration of the 4 people mentioned here can bring out some nasty shit when you're exposing someone, especially if you're trying to ruin their reputation, especially if you had access to someone's phone and behind the scenes persona because they know her professional side and they know her I'm off the clock after 5, let's go to happy hour side. They know her angry side, her sad side, her happy side. All right. So that's important. Now, with the exception of Lori, I don't know how much she does know about Lauren outside of the sharing of the channel. So we definitely don't want to mix business with pleasure moving forward. And we definitely, if I want to get a little bit, vulgar, we don't want to eat where we shit. Okay. And now I'm in a panic. I'm speculating right now. I'm in a panic because I have all these people I used to be friends with who can get out here in the open, especially down at this courthouse, and show a lot of shit I'm not ready for y'all to see. And one of them is on TikTok, causing shit, stirring up shit, making up shit, according to what Lauren has said. She's ganging up with other people, getting my tea, trying to ruin relationships that I have established with people, gathering witnesses for this stalking injunction that I have. And she's a little chaotic and obsessed. If you're on the outside looking in, confronting me when I'm at work at the courthouse and recording me without my knowledge, using different metaphors and different song audios, that's causing me to go into a damn panic.
And she's doing all of this shit indirectly. And to make matters worse, I get this temp RO, and she doesn't even give a damn about that. All right? And people who are concerned and people who support and love Lauren, they're saying all because you said she was annoying. And I say to you all, it has to be more than that. It doesn't have to be more than that, right? But at the same time, obviously, it's more than that because she said in the beginning of the video that I am recording right now, there are things she does not want to come out that's embarrassing that will come out on that live feed with Law and Crime with their nosy behind selves filming it for millions of people to watch. Okay? And it's more than that. I'm trying to escape this danger and I have the receipts, but I don't need everybody all up in my business. I'm paraphrasing on behalf of Lauren. However, the court of public opinion feels like you're running from Law and Crime. Filming your stalking injunction is no different than you showing up to court, taking notes, reporting facts and moments the victim's family, they have to relive, and you're making money doing so. You're exposing victims to scrutiny and whisper amongst your comment sections when you bring them to your platform and people feel like you're making a profit off of doing so. Yes, you can be an advocate for the victims, but you make money doing so. This is what people are saying out there. I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I mean. So this is what the people are saying who have the hard questions to the reaction of this all. Now, I want to ask a quick question for anybody listening to this video. Is there anyone willing to set aside their love, their loyalty to answer and or add any input to what I just said without bias? I'm asking this with respect, not with malice, because I don't know any of these people at the end of the day, and I was not there. Now, I did look into if stalking injunctions are usually live streamed. And what I'm coming up with so far, it's usually not something that's live streamed. Some people record, but of course that gives you a chance to edit things that you don't want the public to have access to. And you might go live and go over that recording. I see it right now. Somebody is live right now on YouTube as I make this video going over a stalking injunction case. However, it is something that he has the access to edit, delete, and take out parts that are, sensitive for the public. I can only assume that since we are dealing with a situation that might be considered influencer drama, something that is going to be part of a larger case, such as a defamation suit. I don't know. Hopefully she will find out what Law and Crime was up to, because maybe you all can tell me, wasn't she collaborating with them at one point in time? I consider a guest appearance, it's a collaboration at the end of the day between two channels. And I did find a video where she did appear on Law and Crime Network as a guest, and her name is here, and they even have her channel listed in the description of that video. So maybe she felt like since they're familiar with her that they would have some respect and reach out to her before they just go out there live streaming something that she considers to be dangerous because she's trying to escape something. So let's get back to the chalkboard, okay? We already said what we wanted to say about Christina, but we want to talk about Lindsay. Why is she so silent? Well, you all know she has that cease and desist. So Christina is pretty much doing all the talking for everyone indirectly, using different metaphors and music and TikTok viral sound bites, to the point where Lauren took the song Worms from Eminem that was played on one of the TikTok videos, and she went to look up the lyrics to that song. So now we're getting into the metaphors that are being used, the meaning behind a certain song lyric that's being used, and the chorus of that song is what was played on that TikTok video. Because nobody likes me, everybody hates me, they want me to go eat some words. I hope you offended and drag my name through the mud, through the dirt, but I'm going to make you eat your words, okay? Now, Lauren said absolutely not, because did you get into the beginning of the song? It's violent. You claim if you get knocked by the cops, you'll give them not a statement. Walk into arraignment and pow pow the bailiff. Karate kick the plaintiff. Gaudy with the stainless. I'll just call it shoddy entertainment. If y'all was in the party getting faded, on Molly had the audience sedated. It's wordplay, but Lauren is like, listen, this girl's crazy. I don't know what she's up to. I'm scared. She said she was scared several times throughout this 9-hour video to the point where she might be paranoid. I'm just giving you my opinion that you didn't ask for. Someone said something about having Lauren's head on a platter. She was definitely bothered by that. Because to hell with if it's a metaphor or not, that somebody wants revenge, somebody wants to punish me, you're now threatening my livelihood. You're threatening the relationships I have with people who I work with people who I once loved, but now they're pissed off at me because you're about to expose all of my tea. People are no longer talking to her and she doesn't know why. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with this whole situation. But I had so much more to say, but the audio is now out from the courthouse and the judge did modify that temp RO. However, he did say when it comes to the TikTok page, see, now I have to say this. I feel like Lauren's lawyer was given a little bit of the lawyer from down there to the Donna Adelson because it's just like, what? That I'm just being honest. It's just, hey, okay. Because I feel like, why aren't you getting into what is being said on the TikTok page that you all see as a problem and why your client feels like your life is in danger? You're more so focused on the creation of the page, when it was created. Did you know about this page? Did she tell you her plans and what she was going to do when she made this plan? And you're not getting into the nooks and the crannies of what exactly is being said on this page that is problematic to your client. That's my opinion. But I don't know much about the courthouse. So, pardon me. This is unsolicited right now. And it makes me wonder, did Lauren also have the afterthought of, oh my God, am I going to be able to get what I need with this lawyer when it's time to go to this civil stalking injunction so that we can make this RO permanent? So when you listen to the audio, when Lindsay is on the stand and the lawyer is asking the question, the judge has the final say. And the judge pretty much in a nutshell, if you want to summarize it and simplify it, said, listen, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And her lawyer is like, but wait, no. Well, why didn't you get into that before the judge? Seems like the judge was like, you know what is all of this shit here? This is my opinion, right? And now you have a modified RO, which allows Christina to continue to post on her TikTok page. Now, the judge did tell her, tighten up. Hey, tighten up. Don't be stupid. But we're not going to take away her freedom of speech. They also needed to get clarification with this temp RO when it comes to these women being at the same courthouse. Crime Con, for example, now that has came and gone, and we seen what happened with that. But in the future, what do we do if we're in the same place where we are working? Now, Lauren said that Christina, who she identifies as her stalker, does not work in the true crime community. But some of you will say that's not true, because if she does not work for the true crime community, why was she your ex-contractor? So that means you were paying her to do some type of work, and you are part of the true crime community, right? So what do you mean she doesn't work for the community? Well, they consider Christina to be an artist and a photographer. And in the courthouse, they said that she was also working as a contractor for people behind the scenes. This is what was said in the courthouse on the audio. I wasn't there, okay? So I just wanted to let y'all know that. So what I gather based off of the audio from that court hearing is if they are at the same place at the same time for work, if it is work related, she has to make sure there is 500 feet. You can't be within 500 feet of Lauren, the victim. For example, if you're in the courtroom, you're not supposed to sit on the same side. You should be sitting on opposite sides. It's pretty much the explanation. But I believe if you look on the screen, and you might need to slide back, I've been placing the transcripts on the screen just so that you can see I'm not making some of this up. Paraphrasing, yes, but not pulling it out of my behind. And if we do have any hidden gems listening to this video, if you heard this audio from the court audio, not what anybody was saying in between, because I know sometimes we can get caught up in what the people are saying when commentary is involved. And I say that because I do commentary and I talk a lot of shit. I do. Outside of this, my normal content, my typical content, and shout out to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. Hey, I usually do not cover true crime community business. However, this is universal because this is common, unfortunately. But hey, y'all, thank you for engaging with me. But anyway, how do the hidden gems feel about the audio from the courthouse? If you listen to it, how do you feel about that? I don't have the audio, nor am I in possession of that audio, so I can't play that audio. I am not part of the true crime community, so I did not want to start playing audio from the different channels, and then they striking my channel down, honey. I didn't want to do that. However, if you did listen to the audio, how do you feel? Your honest opinion, can you answer that without taking sides, and can you give me a neutral answer? If you can, I understand that. I get that. So now we find out Law and Crime is going to show up, live stream, record. I don't know the method, but they were going to show up, and we're worried they're going to release this to the people. I don't really want this to happen because A, you have no business recording this anyway, even if it is public and you got the permission and approval to do so. Have some respect. You know what I'm saying? Is what Lauren was given. And now we have this audio that's out from the court hearing. And you all said that when she went and got that temp RO, that the judge obviously felt like whatever was part of that presentation, it fit the bill for stalking. So now how do you feel about the judge saying, let's modify this and not take away her freedom of speech, as well as offering the clarity of what you need to do moving forward if you are going to be out here on these social media platforms moving forward? Also, what I want to know is this. The YouTube streets, the Reddit streets, the X, formerly known as Twitter streets, are hot. Even TikTok, people are reacting to this, talking about it. You see people in the comment section saying, who is this lady that keeps popping up in my algorithm? What is this all about? Give me the tea. You got Lori Hellis, her ex-channel guest and ex-friend, coming out, and she's telling you all, listen, I'm breaking my silence. This is what happened. Something about somebody sending her manuscript around. Honey, listen, she put the receipts on her community wall. I don't know what any of that means, so I'm just going to leave that part alone. The only thing I can say here, it is a possibility that Lauren might be difficult to work with, especially if you are also her friend, hence why we said earlier, we don't want to mix business with pleasure. It is a possibility that behind the scenes, Lauren is completely different, and there are people who want to blow up her spot because she does stay professional when she is on her podcast and channel. And Mad Day has arrived, okay? And the people are reacting to it. But please remember that certain behaviors start out a certain way and can end up fatal. I'm just being honest with you. If I'm being over dramatic, it's okay. Because I was a witness to a few YouTube content creator beefs where it started out just a little back and forth, a text message here and there. And now we got people in the car driving out of state, standing in front of that person's home, taking pictures, trying to prove a point. There was the YouTube feud that led to a pow-powing at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. So remember, you have to start somewhere, and then you have some people who feel like, you know what, how am I going to finish this out? So you got to be extra careful and overprotective, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But it's only fair that we hear from both sides since this is all over social media. Even if we feel like Christina's energy is chaotic and something's going on, which I did go to her art account, which has over 50,000 something subscribers. And there's a post from like January, and she explains that she does have adult ADHD, amongst other things. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But that gives you no excuse at the same time. However, we would love to hear what is her side of the story. What happened and how did we get here? Thank you so much, everybody. Please hype the video, like the video so that I can get into the algorithm. Thank you to all of the people engaging with me. Thank you so much to all of the new subscribers. This is not my normal type of content. I'm usually messy over here gossiping in people's business that have everything to do with a little scam, robbery, fraud, a little lie, things like that, infidelity, a low down, dirty, cheating man or woman. We don't discriminate around here. So that is what I'm typically over here talking about. So thank you so much to all of the new subscribers. Welcome on into the dollhouse. And our next video, we are going to get into not Lauren, but Laura Owens, who is the pregnancy scammer. Happy birthday to Butterfly 23 and Winter Butterfly. Enjoy your day. Blessings and many more. I hope you get everything that you want to get today. Hugs and kisses to the both of you. And I am out of here. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Unfiltered Doll Reactions.
All right, Slash.
Oh, what you working for? Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south, I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't